going on, guys? So we're continuing the end of the year list. This time it's not so much a top thing, but it is my favorite things, but in this case it's builds, and more specifically my Shoky Customs that I've done this year. And there's been a few, because this year I really wanted to focus on getting my customs done, and some things just turned into customs that weren't supposed to be in the first place. So I'm going to go over them just real quick, and of course I'm going to link the actual reviews, at least for the things that, yeah, all of them are reviewed. So I'll link the reviews either in the card or down below. So if for some reason you haven't seen these things and you're like, what? You can go check these things out. Yeah, just that. Alright guys, so first and foremost, I think is actually the first real custom of the year, and it is my Shin Musha Gundam. And if you guys remember from the review, I tried to do a faux leather look to all of the armor, which came out really good for the most part. But I did run out of some of the paint that I was using. But the interesting new technique to try to add a leather look to stuff. It still has a great weathered look, except for like the chrome piping and stuff like that. But the other thing is I was practicing making a faux wood finish on things, such as the gun here, which I'm really proud of. Also got good at making things look like old worn metal. Also have the fan blade here, whatever you want to call it. Did the same thing there. And my first foray into really scratch building a thing with my custom samurai seat here, all made of styrene, made to look like super old wood, and that is worn in all the directions. I'm really still very proud of this, and still looking at it, I keep forgetting that it's made out of plastic, because I did a really good job making it look like wood. And that is one of the better things that I did this year, and I'm still proud of. Now, unfortunately, it does come with a fair bit of sadness, as it was the last thing I put on display at Hobbytown before they closed. And so, of course, when they closed, I had to go back up there and get it. And it does come with a little bit of sadness involved there, because I kind of miss my friends. And, of course, the place that we all got together to build Gunpla. So, grain of salt situation, you know. But, of course, go check out the review if you haven't seen it, so you can see things more in detail. And I also did build logs for this thing as I went, so go check that out as well. Let's move on to the next thing. And next up on my favorite custom builds is something we already saw in the top list, and it is, of course, my custom Flame Toys Bumblebee. And, you know, I did the hammer, looks really awesome, totally customized his back to move the shoulders to the backpack, which are shoulder wheels to make a backpack. That's one of my favorite things. I've already gone over why he's one of my favorite builds of the year, but it's also why he's one of my favorite customs. Now, he does have a minor issue with balance, at least on the stand. Maybe that'll help. Because it is a Gundam stand. It's not necessarily made for that. It's just close enough peg for the most part. But he needed to be on a flight stand because he's flying. So, once again, I've already talked about this once, this end of the year list. So, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. And of course, something else we already saw on the best and worst list, the mobile haro or ball and cup version, and of course my full-on custom. They're both custom, technically speaking, but the full custom with the custom Harodama weapon right there. This was one of my absolute favorite builds, and it was kind of a random thought that I had just looking at the stuff that I did. And of course, I wanted something really cool to reveal at the end of Balls for Balls, and this thing worked. Not to mention, it sparked another level of friendship between me and Rodimus13, because he also built his own custom ball and cup set. Now that cup is of course combat utility pod, which is what we're calling the mobile horror body underneath that. Now if you want to go see everything about this, of course go check out that review, and I think, I could be wrong, I'm pretty sure I had a build log for that as well. I'm pretty sure. And it wasn't without its hardships. These arms up here gave me a whole lot of problems because ABS, styrene, they don't like to stick together very well. But this is one of my most favorite custom weapons I've ever done, and one of my first real, like, I've got to customize this thing. And I dig it. It's a lot of fun. And I still have the plain one over here if I feel like customizing it down the line. And next is, of course, my custom Flame Toys Attack Mode Prime redone in Ultra Magnus colors. This was a heck of a custom. Now, I threw this together while I was working on something else entirely, and that would be my my custom local type. Now, my custom local type that was finally revealed this year would be on this list, except it's already kind of on its way to Reese. So it's already been packed up, it's already on its way to Reese. So that is one of the greatest things I've ever created, but I made this thing while I was kind of doing that at the same time. Mind you, a lot simpler, because, you know, just a simple repaint, right? Holy crap, this was a hard repaint. Repainting white over a dark blue and a red was a giant chore, not to mention I found out the stress limits of ABS with acrylic paints. So, where you actually could see some plastic melting through, such as all of this area here, where it still has a red tinge coming through. Now, I believe he's probably already beginning to suffer the same way my other attack mode primes are, with the splitting of the polycaps and things like that, but you know, it is what it is. Once again, go check out the review if you want to see how we got to this point, but I really do like it. I would keep looking up at the shelf and I see it, it's like, man, that's beautiful. And it is. And technically, it's actually two different whites, but it's kind of hard to tell, if I'm honest with myself. But he looks really good alongside the Nemesis and the regular Prime, and I have the Shattered Glass one now that will be coming up sometime soon. So I will have basically like the complete set of Primes. So, moving on. And now my Star Custom from Double October 4, and it is the Grampage. One of the more ambitious kit bashes that I've ever attempted to do. Taking 3 different generations of kits and making them into one thing based off of a build from Gunpla Warfare. And it came out spectacularly. And of course it was a cross collaboration with Rodimus 13, so he built his version with oh, now I don't even remember what his was called. It's been a minute. X-Age, that's right. So I had to think about it. His was mostly Exia and Age 1. Mine's Age 1, Grandpa, and Exia. So making all these generations of kits work together was difficult, but fun. Go check out the review in Double October 4, and there was a minor build log for how I got it. It definitely challenged me in masking, in customizing, in kit bashing, in building up my own torso extension, making parts fit together almost seamlessly, and then painting a lot of details. Not to mention making something that exists in a video game come to life, which was fun in and of itself. Now, I do have some paint errors here and there where things just didn't want to cooperate, but definitely one of my prouder builds, and I love it. I love the details. The color scheme, while slightly different than what was in the game, is actually really, really good, though I have a hard time looking at the age symbol with how rough that sticker ended up coming out. If I had it in me to paint a metallic chrome blue on there, I would do it myself, but yeah, definitely dig this thing. And apparently you guys really did too, so yeah, still more customs to look at. And now for one of my most recent builds, and it is the Bandai Star Wars 1/5000 scale Star Destroyer. This kit challenged me in ways I've never been challenged. I learned new techniques, including Aztecing and oil washing, The electronics were a pain in the butt, still kind of are, but I love the sheer details. I love the way this thing came out. It is a magnificent build. Not necessarily worth the money for the lighting edition. If you have the ability to light something yourself, I suggest that, but overall, this thing is just one of the best things in my collection that I have built. And even the custom tiny little painted Tantive, and then the Millennium Falcon hiding back up here. And also, you're probably wondering why I don't just have these things on turntables. It's because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just doing this off the cuff. But the details are fantastic. I like this thing. It has its problems, especially with fitment and stuff. So if you have it, make sure you do this. But I love the fact that so far there are people in the Discord and others who have seen my build and followed my build logs and learned to do it themselves and are replicating the same effects. One guy in particular just did the Aztecing on his, got the oil wash and all that, and it came out fantastic as well. So thanks to Tested for their inspiration for me so that I could be an inspiration for you guys on doing this. And honestly, I still love it. I look at it and go, I don't even remember doing some of the details. Like there's detail up here behind the shield generators that have stuff coming down and off the back, and it's just awesome. Honestly, I can't wait to take this thing down to G&G and show it off to the IPMS guys. Hopefully there'll be a contest sometime soon that I can take it down there, because I love this thing. I honestly don't care about the lights that much, so the non-lighted version is probably just fine for this. I still think I need to get a couple more, make one that looks brand new instead of old and beaten and weathered. But what would be awesome is to build the wrecked in the sand version that's on Jakku in The Force Awakens. I think that would be really fun. Like a whole big chunk of side missing, nose down in the sand as a diorama. Somebody have to have done it by now. But I love this thing so very much. And you guys have too. And speaking of G&G and the IPMS guys, next up is, of course, my favorite little busted Haro. One of the coolest things I have ever attempted to do, and I did it on my whim. Now, Rodimus and myself had been working through making custom weathered, chipped, and rusted things. We did several videos showing off how to do different techniques. This was the ultimate culmination of those videos. So I'd made this little custom base just to practice chipping and weathering and making rust effects. And then, along with a lot of other things, made this guy happen. And just to blow your mind, I did this in less than 2 days. It's like, so fully painted up, weathered, battle damaged, and of course wired for lights for that eye. It is one of the coolest things I've done this year, or probably ever. And the fact that it won me a contest when I really underestimated it, it is definitely something awesome, and definitely a worthy review. Also, go watch that review just for the intro, where I do a little intro skit to it that still scares me when I watch it. It's like, it's funny to think that I made that video. I'm the only person talking in that video, and it still scares me. So unfortunately, he might need a new LED sometime soon, which is going to be problematic just because of the way it's plugged in there. But I do love this little guy. He's so awesome. And of course, you guys should probably have guessed this by now. The best and most favorite custom that I have made in 2019 is the Glitch Busters GBN Guard Buster frame that I did as a collaboration with Rodimus 13. Now, not only is this one of the cooler customs I made, along with all of the weapons, so the custom Proton 1, the custom Trap, the custom Backpack, Proton Pack, but the entirely scratch-built containment unit diorama and all that that is actually set up to take on both of our sets of weapons and stuff like that. The best thing I've ever built at this point in time, using all the techniques I've learned along the way, with the exception of oil washing because I wasn't there yet. And this was all without use of an airbrush. This is all hand paint or rattle cans or things like that, not to mention just scratch building and just pushing myself to the limits. This was part of the collaboration initially. This was a big surprise just for Rodimus, and I threw this entire setup together in 4 days. One of the craziest thrashes I've ever done. And if you want to go check that out along with the build log so that you can see how I did it, by all means. I know this is picking up more and more love along the way, but definitely go watch the trilogy of videos for the whole setup, because on top of doing this build, I did a hell of an editing job making the promotional videos tied to it because of the storyline that was going on Rodimus' channel. So go check out that. It'll be linked down below or in the card up there. Go watch the entire trilogy of videos that includes both of our reviews of our builds, along with my sick editing skills, and of course the evil thing that now lives in my chest under here. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you got to go watch the video. But that's going to be it for this. Alright guys, but that's it for my favorite customs that I built this year. I think there may have been something I missed. I can't remember. And like I said, the sad thing is, of course, that the custom local type featured here is already gone. So that one was, up until the Ghostbusters thing, the most ambitious scratch build thing ever. Converting a Gundam to a Transformer with as much detail as possible, with the custom weapons, everything like that, and of course the extra stuff that comes in later on when that video comes out. You'll see it. So far, that's a thing like between me and Reese, and that's of course the only time that someone has gotten a custom build of mine. So that's something important to me, that something that I built will live on in someone else's collection. Something I'm super proud of, that I spent over a year doing. It just, you know, it means a lot to me. All of these customs mean a lot to me, but the reason the Ghostbuster one was at the top for me is that it like really is, it cemented a lot of things between myself and Thomas, or Rodimus 13. Like, we're already friends, we're YouTube buddies, but like that collaboration between him and I, you know, working on the story together, coming up with the idea together, taking his initial idea and then running with it, and now even inspiring him to continue it, which is something you'll see later on his channel. This might spur something back and forth between us. And honestly, guys, if you have a GBN guard frame and you want to make these customs, we really do cover how we did it, or at least I did. So I really want to see more Glitchbusters customs. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be guard frames, but that's a very, very suitable kit. It's cheap and things like that, and easily customizable. So if you're capable, I want to see those customs. Post them on the Shoky Facebook, tag me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. All my info is always down below. Or if you want to just show it off in the Discord is popping a lot lately. So definitely come over there and show off some stuff. Now, from here on, time to talk about non-building things, and I know people just start falling asleep, but I do have the fans that do love my other things, you know. So there's that. So see you then. Make sure you do the like and subscribe-ish thing. Check out the Patreon. By all means, become a patroneer. Help support the channel, because frankly, in 2020 and moving forward, no idea how things are going to be affected by all these stupid rules that have happened this year and that will be implemented in the coming year. So it might be the only way I can make money in the future. We'll see what happens. I do have some t-shirt ideas that I'm going to work on. I need to bust out my graphic ability to see if I can make some t-shirts happen this year that you guys will actually buy. But I'll see you guys later. Remember, as always, keep on building.